happen without debate and controversy. If you're interested in the debate around this peace journalism movement, I could recommend an issue of the Conflict and the Communication Online. The articles and the debate there has also been published and compiled in a volume edited by Professor Wilhelm Kemp at Constance University in Germany under the title The Peace Journalist Controversy. It came out last year. Some of the issues that have been debated then is, could peace journalism actually be compatible with the ideal of objectivity in news journalism in particular? Another argument or discussion point has been whether it doesn't run the risk of deteriorating into propaganda. Exactly what is actually aimed to avoid by this idea of peace journalism actually in, for example, Galton's writing. A third issue of controversy is whether you could really demand journalists to take responsibility of the consequences of their products. Representatives, promoters of this peace journalist idea or strategy actually argues that there must be a professional ethics of consequential ethics. But all this is open to debate. But as some of our colleagues in Africa have also said, this is certainly very much needed. Professor Faxon Banda, Rhodes University in South Africa, has said or written, African journalist education must be explicitly linked to peace education. The ethics of Ubuntu, he refers to as a sort of African cultural idea or concept that is actually very much linked to the ideas of a peace journalist. Given the normativity of media roles, it is possible to conceive of the place of peace journalism in the newsroom, according to Faxon Banda. George Lugalambe, doctor and head of the Department of Mass Communication at Makerere University, has said the Ugandan media are duty-bound to promote a political culture that shuns violence in favor of peaceful and democratic solutions. So there is, among many scholars and professional journalists, a strongly felt need of this kind of journalist movement and strategy. In the program we have mentioned now several times that we are running at Örebro, but also in collaboration with Nordic colleagues in Finland and Norway, the journalist schools in Finland and Norway. We have, as we said earlier, profiled heavily on peace journalism, war and peace journalism. To give you a few more details, facts about this program, it is a two years master program, and we started it in 2004. Now we have had 4 cohorts of students examined, taking their degrees, and continue their careers in their home countries. So there is around 50 alumni spreading the message now all over the world. And we have some 20 plus students each year, and these students represent almost the same number of countries. So it's a very widely recruited group of students we have. Several master theses at this program have applied a peace journalist perspective. So for example now, mentioning again our Commissioner of Information, Omar Jeba, wrote a thesis with the title War and Peace Journalism, and the subtitle was the role of the media in the Delta state crisis. So very important for the discussion, I understand, in this state of Nigeria. Another alumni, Sentan Sevaya from Sri Lanka, also applied in his thesis this peace journalist perspective in a study of the Sri Lankan media and the internal conflicts in that country. From our program then, and our alumni continuing their careers in their home countries, spin-off courses have appeared in South Africa, Uganda, Sri Lanka, Georgia, Uzbekistan, and other countries as well. Because our students, with their scientific training as well from our program, have also been engaged in journalism, teaching and education, and also in research in their home countries. So does peace journalism matter then? Well, if you search Google, there is 22,000 hits. A recent bibliography listed 80 titles, academic titles. But of course, as a researcher, I must also underline that there has so far not been any proper scientific evaluations of the impact of peace journalism as a strategy among journalists. But there are some indications that these ideas are spreading and taking ground. In a study I made myself, but focusing only on Scandinavian media, I found there are some trends that indicate that these ideas are growing and becoming more important. For example, like in the peace journalist model by Galtung, there is an increased focus on civilian casualties in conflict coverage. If you compare over the years, we studied actually and compared the Gulf War 1991 with the Iraq War and conflict in between. There is also, secondary, an increased attention to the way different actors try to use media and journalists for propaganda purposes. And the media are now more describing and analyzing these tendencies, which also is part of a sort of peace journalist strategy. Thank you for your attention.